Hello, this is Frida Liu, and you're watching The Shift, where we talk about powering positive change in the areas of sustainability. And today we're talking about the built environment, which contributes around 40% of the world's carbon emissions. Lendlease is a global property and infrastructure company committed to environmental sustainability and addressing the challenges of climate change. As a 1.5 degrees Celsius aligned company, Lendlease has developed a comprehensive climate change adaptation and resilience plan to mitigate its environmental impact, enhance resilience, and commit to limiting global warming. And they're also committed to creating close to 800 million ringgit worth of social value that refers to a positive impact made on people and society as a result of their mitigation efforts by 2025 through shared value partnerships. What this all means, I'm here today with Lendlease's Sustainability Director, Dr. Yasmin Rasyid, to find out more. Lendlease has a climate mission of absolute zero by 2050, so no greenhouse gas emissions from business activities, no offsets, and this applies to scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. So what measures from Lendlease's sustainability framework have been applied to its development to address the impact of climate change? Of course, there's 2040, but I think closer to now, right? So what are some of the things that are put in place?
Thanks for that question, Frida. One of the things that we are doing today to ensure we actually meet that 2040 target is to set mid-range goals. So we've got our Mission Zero campaign, which basically helps us chart out the pathway to get to net zero carbon scopes 1 and 2 by 2025, and also to use 100% renewable energy by 2030. So we in this, sustainability is a long journey, right? And
never ends.
It never ends, and just when you think you're almost there, there's new things that comes. Innovation, technology. So mindful of that, while we have a very long-term goal and we want to ensure the longevity of the company and we continue to champion sustainability, I think one of the key things we want to make sure we hold our businesses accountable is setting smaller, shorter-term strategies. We call it decarbonization strategies, and we've got one set up for 2025 and 2030. And the idea is to really start getting everyone in the business, across the business, to actually start owning up to their accountability to some of these targets. Because I think traditionally it falls under the purview of sustainability, but how Lendlease operationalize it is really to incorporate it into our culture and how we run our business as usual.
Right. All right. Okay. Now, and what steps have you taken, right, to fulfill its commitment of becoming a 1.5 degrees aligned company? And how has the company already begun working towards this goal here in Malaysia?
In Malaysia, we've got a unique project that's coming up now, the Exchange TRX. It's going to be our second retail asset here. And we've gone through extensive lengths to ensure that we design, build, and operate a piece of asset that is future-proof as far as our investors are concerned, to ensure that the asset is able to stand the test of climate risk over time. Right. So one of the things we did prior to the construction of the retail asset is to deliver a climate change adaptation and resilient assessment. I believe it's probably the only development that has done that.
Right.
And what it does is basically a study to determine in the next 30, 50, 70 years, if we are continue to be business as usual in our lifestyle, what are the kind of climate risk the mall will actually face over that duration?
Right.
And knowing that helps us then go back to the drawing board and look at, okay, how should we design this to be able to resist more intensified urban floods, for instance? Right. What do we need to incorporate in it to ensure that we minimize urban heat, because that's just going to exacerbate over time. So that gave us very good insights on how to, build and operate an entity that is able to, I guess, not just withstand climate risk, but also provides that longevity in how it serves as its function for people to work, live, and play.
And it is important, right? You're saying 30, 50, 70 years. It's not just 5 years from now. It's like for the long term, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of scenario planning in that case as well.
Yep.
Okay, how do you then incorporate sustainability into this project? So you're looking at all these things. How are you then doing it with the Exchange TRX?
Well, we're quite lucky in the way our Lendlease sustainability framework works, it's very applicable across the region. So I think we took the best, and that serves as a very basic foundation on how we then came up with the kind of sustainability strategies that's relevant to the Exchange TRX. So very high level, majority of our developments are almost 100% meeting gold or platinum building certification.
Right.
And I think that's very basic now.
Okay.
Almost everyone will do that. So what then do we plan to do above and beyond? For instance, the district, the mall sits on a very kind of cool innovation. It recycles 50% of all the wastewater at the precinct and spits back out 50% recycled water for us to use for flushing, for the park. Why? Because we know it's going to be a very severe water stress environment.
Right. And
it felt that we had to be accountable as a district to really reduce our reliance on potable water. So that's one way. And we want to advocate for this district kind of like wastewater recycling system for all new developments in the future as well. So we're hoping that this will be a really beautiful case study to encourage other developers to look at having certain things that are already thought of, because you want that building to last for a long time, right?
Right. Okay, so very interesting.
Yeah.
And you talk about the Climate Change Adaptation and Resilience Plan, CCAR. It's helped in developing the Exchange TRX. So what is its significance?
It helps us build the climate resilience of the infrastructure, as well as protect, I guess, the people that will live, work, and play in there. Yeah, at the end of the day, is creating this, I guess, sustainable space where you can thrive.
Do you know, like, do you foresee how many people will be in that community in 30 years' time?
In that district?
Yeah.
My immature and maybe not so professional guess would be 40,000, 50,000 people easily. Yeah. Looking at the size of the infra that's there, Right. And that's people that dwell there, not including people, because our interchange is like
the working place,
60 destinations, right? So you can imagine people coming straight from the airport, or leaving for the airport, or going to Putrajaya right from the district.
Right. So very exciting, and then a lot of planning that goes behind that. Yes. And you talk about the social value, right, of Australian 250 million or close to 800 million, depending on the exchange rate, 800 million ringgit, right, by 2025. What is this? What is this pledge, right? And what's this social value?
It is a global mandate. I think it comes from our founder, where while he was always passionate about making sure that the people that works for Lendlease, as well as the people that we impact, gets the best out of the company.
Right.
So shared social impact is one of our mandates to ensure that we create value in the communities that we build. And it's also indirectly a way to, I guess, give us that social license to operate in an environment and benefit the community.
Okay, and how do you develop something, right, with the future generations in mind, right? So you're saying that how do you develop it? How do you start thinking about that?
In the context of the precinct, I think from years before, we've already had this vision that simple thing like employment.
Okay.
How can we, as much as possible, localize employment? We've also got an inclusive spend policy where there is a preference for us to procure services from local social enterprises to kind of, again, contribute to the local economy, but at the same time, add on to their potential social impact, right? So we've got these policies hidden in, either procurement or in our vendor system, as well as in how the mall runs its activities. So we hope that this really nice integrated mix of all our accountability in sustainability in business will actually not just drive sustainability into motion, but actually create that culture that is critical for the company.
So it's interesting. You talk about employment, schools as well, I guess.
Schools. Also, I guess, a special preference to help women as well in the city centre. So one of our shared value partnerships, Project Community Kita, which is actually happening in the 4th or 5th year, right next to TRX, is such project where it's really about identifying the needs of that community. In this case, it's women entrepreneurship, actually some mental health programs, as well as dealing with aging parents as well. I think it's kind of unique that we're in the thriving, Jalan Tun Razak area, and you just look outside.
Yeah.
You're not short of communities to
support,
engage and help and support.
Right.
So we hope this would be the first of many steps Lendlease will take. And we also hope to encourage all the other precinct owners as well, the banks that are there, the healthcare services that are there, as well as 500 of our retail tenants.
Right.
To, we want to share that journey with them, because at the end of the day, we can only do so much. But if everyone in that precinct is mobilized to deliver this strong sustainability vision, we can do so much more.
And it involves everybody, right? Because you need them to be successful for you to be successful as well, right? I mean, or empowered, right? You have this a leasing program, right? What is the company's overall sustainability and green financing strategy?
One of the key strategies, we have to ensure that sustainability in retail is done well. And we are enforcing 100% green lease to all our tenants. And that is a process that is already in motion right now. We actually get our tenants, and we go through this as a journey with our tenants. We guide them in terms of what is your maximum load you can go for your energy. We also then showcase to them, the list of more energy efficient appliances. This is part of the kickstart of our Scope 3 engagement as well. We realize Scope 3 is our biggest sin.
Challenge.
It's 80% of our emission. And while we are proud, we've tackled Scope 1 and 2 and declaring it and have roadmaps. I think Scope 3 is the kicker. And we realize as a landlord there's only so much you can do to tackle Scope 3. The biggest one is supply chain and our tenants. So 500 of them, it's going to be a fun journey to engage our tenants, to look at where are the synergies we can form with them and drive sustainability in the retail side.
Right. And final question, right? How does Lendlease plan to share its sustainability expertise in Malaysia going forward? And I guess how can get everybody on board?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we also do the same. We sit on councils here and there, green building councils. We do conferences and talks. But and the whole objective is really to share what we have learned. I mean, there's really no point in keeping it. At the end of the day, you mentioned rightfully, 40% of the emissions come from our homes, our offices. So I feel the responsibility is really should be ingrained in all of us to look at what we need to do to drive it down.
All right. Thanks for spending time with us. I've been speaking to Dr. Yasmin Rasyid from Lendlease, talking about how, in the whole area of building, how we can also incorporate that with sustainability in terms of how things are built and thinking about the community, not just for today, but many, many years ahead. And I'm Frida Liu. You've been watching The Shift.